Hi, I'm Catherine DiOrio, and welcome to Check Please, the show where regular people from all over Chicago recommend and review their favorite restaurants. So this is how the show works. Every week we have 3 guests. Each recommends his or her favorite spot, and the other 2 go check them out and see what they think. This week, sales manager Olya Lebateva says that if fabulous food with a wall of vodka is your thing, then the price is right at her cosmopolitan choice. But stay-at-home mom, Carolyn Vanderoff, says she likes to get out of the house and go for a truly hidden adventure. And there's no better place than her selection. Up first, web developer Al Herrera says that even though there are no servers at his recommendation, his favorite spot has been around for decades. He says for old school sandwiches on a street filled with new concepts, follow him to Randolph and stop in at JP Graziano's.
My great-grandpa opened here in 1937. You know, when you say old school, that's not something you can kind of just attach to yourself. I feel like you truly are or aren't. We really give that old school, true Chicago feel to anybody that walks in the door. You order from me when you walk in. Italian, no tomato with mayo. Everything is sliced fresh to order. Everything on there looks okay. You pay my mom at the window.
Nice to see you. How's the baby? Good?
So it's just that all-around feel of the whole store. West Loop, as it's known now, really was one of the first Chicago markets. This is where everybody came down to pick up the goods to go resell to restaurants or delis. Now on a huge revival of world-class restaurants up and down the block. And, you know, our little sandwich shop still going strong today. It makes me feel amazing seeing this store so alive. I'm very proud to carry on the tradition. Put my own stamp on it as well and get it ready to eventually pass on to the next generation, I hope. Thank you. Enjoy.
Thank you.
So Al, you say JP Graziano's is the real deal. Why'd you choose it?
Well, it's been around for decades, as you said before. So you'll order your sandwich, you'll get greeted by the family. Mm-hmm. They'll say, hey, how are you, and whatnot. And as you're waiting there, like old school Italian music, very softly is playing in the background.
So it kind of gets you in the mood the minute you walk in.
Yeah, it kind of like hits you, wait a minute, am I really on the West Loop? Or am I just, where am I? Yeah. Once you go in there, once you bite into a sandwich there, trust me, your mouth will explode with taste. These are sandwiches that are made from the ground up. From the bread, it's a specific bread for a specific sandwich. Also, for the Mr. G, the Italian artichokes are soaked in oil, makes them super tender, gives the sandwich a different taste. Same with the artichokes and the tuna, with the spices and with the other vegetables. Fantastic. Knock your socks off on that tuna.
I loved it. I mean, it wasn't necessarily like my top-end restaurant for a sandwich, but I was prepared for a huge line. We got in, and we were lucky enough that there wasn't. They were super friendly. He was really great. He's like, I can see you haven't been here before. This is the kind of bread we have. This is the kind of meat we have, and I had a great time with my my son and my friend who ordered the Big G and loved it.
I did enjoy the sandwich, not to an extent that you did. But the vibe wasn't there for me. I didn't get this whole Italian family influence. To me, it felt more like a house on Randolph Street. However, I will add that the guys behind the counter were super, super nice, and their suggestion was phenomenal. Smiley, friendly guys, but it could have had something to do with that it was 2 girls on a Saturday afternoon shopping for a sandwich. So that might have been, always helps, right? It might have had something to do with that, but I had the friendliness factor was definitely there.
And I like old school. I mean, like that to me, like looking at the pictures on the wall and knowing that this is, they'd been here since before it was Randolph Street and the West Loop and it was just the meatpacking district. That's kind of cool. I can totally respect and get behind that.
It's been open since 1937. It's 4 generations.
That's
so
awesome.
Jim Graziano is now the great-grandson, and he's running it with his sisters and his mom. And
Is she the one behind the cage? Like,
Yes.
like, oh my God, so cute.
It was an old meatpacking district, so a lot of that feel is what you feel as soon as you walk into it. So essentially, you can go down the street and see something super chic. You go in here, you'll see the mortar brick, you'll see the whole shebang, how it was back in the day, and now super awesome sandwiches.
That is a very interesting factor because I did not think about the restaurant this way. But now when you're saying that they just preserve the whole authenticity of it, there's a chance I will go back there and try the sandwich and just kind of have that inside my head that they retain their authenticity.
Yes.
And you got to give restaurant a lot of credit. Being on such a almost
Competitive.
intimidating street.
Right.
Yeah.
And still be in business and still have a line is around the corner. That says a lot about the
Dedicated.
food.
Yeah, they've been there for a long time. They're not going anywhere.
So what are some other sandwiches would you say are
I would
real?
recommend the porchetta. It's an imported porchetta from Italy that is freshly sliced. That's the main
I don't know
key
what
here.
it is. It's like boneless pork stuffed with garlic and rosemary, and they roll it, and then they wood roast it, and they shave it off for a
So
porchetta
it's-
sandwich.
That's a good recommendation, yes.
All right, I'm not going to go back and get a turkey sandwich. I'm going to go back and get a porchetta.
No.
Is it what you tried?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I'm a turkey person. I'm sorry. I added cucumber. I was really, really adventurous.
Yeah.
I had an Italian sandwich, and usually if I go to an Italian restaurant, to an Italian sandwich restaurant, you kind of want to try the Italian sandwich. And my friend had caprese sandwich, yes. So she liked her caprese sandwich. My sandwich was, had better Italian sandwiches, but it had a lot of flavor. The bread is something that I will definitely go back for. That just, that crunchiness of the bread, and just it didn't become mushy after they sprinkled it with all kinds of stuff.
The bread is actually from D'Amato's Bakery, which is a local bakery here in
didn't know that.
Chicago. The families have known each other for a long time, and they have been using their bread, and they said they would never change. So
They should keep it that way, definitely. But the sandwich itself, the combination of things, I think it might have lacked a little bit of spice in there. That's something that I probably would add.
Oh, if that was the problem, always go for their signature giardiniera sauce on there.
All right, that's a good recommendation.
Giardiniera
Yes, I'll
their
keep that in
giardiniera
mind.
is spectacular.
I will.
And that's
I
something
will
they're
have to
known
go
for.
back
They've
there.
been doing that giardiniera basically since the
They
beginning.
probably
Oh.
invented giardiniera.
They could have.
Let's talk sweets.
We had cannolis, and we also had the gelato. If you ask the owner, Jimmy, for his recommendations on the gelato, he'll recommend the gelato based off the sandwich so that it basically, it'll
Like a gelato
get you.
sommelier.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Can you tell a little bit more about the cannoli?
So the cheese that they use inside the cannoli is fantastic. And the fruit that they
filled to the
use,
end.
they explode out. As soon as you bite in, it's going to shoot out. And you're going to be in trouble.
Then I'm going back for a
Yes. Bibs are recommended.
So Al, you chose JP Graziano's. Sum it up for us.
It's a great sandwich. It's a taste of Chicago. And just have a good time with it.
Great. Olya?
I didn't get the feel of the inviting little family-owned restaurant, but I will definitely go there to try Mr. Gia based on your recommendation and that cannoli.
Great. And Caroline?
It's a little far to drive, but I loved it, and I'll go back.
You can try the subs for yourself at JP Graziano's, 901 West Randolph, 312-666-4587. Open for lunch Monday through Saturday and closed on Sundays. Reservations are not accepted, and the average tab per person without drinks is $12. Caroline Vanderoff knows restaurants jump out at you all over the city, but she likes to dine at a spot that's a little hard to find. That's why she loves the hidden charms of Ada Street.
Right this way.
The vibe here is really interesting. It's almost like a secret that you really want to know. It's not like other small plates restaurants, for sure. I'm 100% Polish, grew up on the south side of Chicago. My parents barely speak a lick of English still. I tend to gravitate more towards meat-centric dishes, adding a global aspect to it.
Let's go ahead and fire Helena Bryan and bruschetta.
Luckily, we're located in the heart of the Midwest, So that definitely allows us to incorporate a lot of local farmers. There's something really beautiful about using all of these ingredients and creating a dish that make people happy. It's definitely a place that you come in and want to come back because food is awesome, the people are even better, the cocktails will definitely get you, and it's a cool place to want to feel wanted.
So Caroline, you adore Ada Street. Why'd you choose it?
Well, it's not some place that you're going to find on your own, and I think that
Definitely
this is a place where we do a lot of research, my husband and I, and he said there's this place, it's behind Home Depot, and I said, by the Hideout? And he's like, yeah, and like okay, you know, and it's basically you have to just find it behind the dump trucks and whatnot that the city's storing, and you walk in and it's just this long hallway before you get in, so it's almost like, oh my God, where am I going? It's hopping, really fun, funky space, vinyl all over the place, the eclectic group of people. The biggest thing is, of course, the food, but I kind of feel like the vibe of the restaurant matches the food. It's just the way she puts her twist on it. Like the thing that got me the first was the octopus. I'd never really had grilled baby octopus, and it's like you got to try it. And then that's still the signature dish. They have that. They have that forever. Then like duck confit, even meatballs. Okay, now the stalwart meatballs. Did you have the Mexican meatball?
Yes, I had the albóndigas.
Amazing.
They put a little queso fresco on it, so essentially that kind of steams up as well with it. So as you put it on the tortilla, it was a good bite.
Oh,
What
absolutely.
do you think of the vibe?
The vibe was very awesome.
Loud.
It wasn't for me though.
Oh yeah.
For me, it wasn't that. I sat at the bar.
But we always eat at the bar. It's great because then the bartenders they are just as good as the servers.
Right.
They really interact.
Yes.
They suggest things and whatnot.
I ended up pairing drinks with the food. So based off the octopus, I think I've had El Diablo, and I also had their other signature drink, a pink drink.
What'd you think of them?
Oh, they were fantastic.
The drink that I get, they don't even have on the menu anymore. But because I always just ask for it. I said Love Her Madly, which is gin with Aperol, some yellow chartreuse, and lime juice.
What would you think, Olga?
I wasn't impressed with the service. I actually was disappointed with the service. It didn't live up to standards, to any sort of standards. I went there on a Thursday night with another couple, so it was 4 adults and a toddler. It was 7:30 reservation, and 7:30 reservation with a toddler. You would assume that a waiter would know that you are on some sort of a time constraint. Unfortunately, our food took close to 2.5 hours to be served. By the time we were ready to have our last course, the family with the toddler was gone home and the baby was already asleep. So that partially ruined the experience for me. It wasn't crowded, it wasn't loud. The service was actually absolutely not there.
I would
and
not
was
recommend it for a
very-
toddler, and that might have been part of it because I don't even know what you would order for a toddler.
Oh,
but
fries.
Yeah.
Their polenta fries
Yeah.
are absolutely
Yeah.
sensational for
Yeah.
a toddler,
Yeah.
and the child can experience absolutely everything
I've
from
taken my
polenta
kids
fries
to a lot of restaurants
to
when they were that
octopus.
age. I'm not saying you shouldn't take your kid wherever. I've taken my kids all over the world in different places, in different high-end restaurants, low-end restaurants, whatever. I agree, but it's just this type of place is just sort of like the last one that I would take.
So you don't think it's kid-friendly?
Well, no, and I don't think that they would argue that it is.
So if we're going to say kids are probably not who you would go with, who would we take there?
I'd go there with my friends. I'd go there with my girlfriends. If considering that their service timeline is 2.5 hours, this is an excellent gossip spot. This is truly an excellent gossip spot to get together with your girlfriends.
For me, it seemed like it'd be a great date spot to
Okay.
take a girl. It's very intimate, it's very chic, there's a lot of nice soft music, it's very conversationalist, so you can have a good conversation with a person while you're there, and it's in an intimate setting.
Right next to you. You're at the bar,
You're at the
you're
bar.
eating, you could talk to, hey, so how
And
you
let's
come
talk
here?
about the music a little bit because, it has a wall of vinyl.
Yep.
You can pull a record out and you can give it to the DJ, you can give it to them and they'll play it for
Sure.
you, which is, an interesting touch.
Wait,
So-
That
wait.
is absolutely an interesting touch.
Yeah.
The experience itself was very nice, and
Right.
the whole record idea is just phenomenal. I think the fact that you can pick up your own music to play there kind of adds to the entire experience, certainly. We had polenta fries, we had meatballs, we had Mexican meatballs,
Yeah.
which were sensational. And
Yeah.
we also had pasta with seafood,
right?
and I had a gnocchi. The gnocchi
Parisian
was
gnocchi.
actually the last dish that came out when the other family left, thank God, because I had everything left to myself at that point. And let me tell you, the gnocchi was probably the best gnocchi I have had in my entire life, and that would be my last meal if I had to die tomorrow. That redeemed the service. At that
Absolutely.
point, that redeemed the service. So I would, if I had to go back there, I would go
Right.
and I will have a gnocchi all to myself
Right.
3 times around.
Right.
So Al, what do you think of the price point here?
The prices were fantastic. It's tapas based, so as long as you understand that you're gonna have small portions, prices were between 9 and 15 depending on the tapas.
Pretty standard.
So it's a
for
pretty
that type of
standard
restaurant.
fare, but you're gonna try a lot of stuff. So just be prepared that it will add up, but it's gonna be worth it because you're gonna be having a good time with your friends, with your date, and you're gonna try a whole bunch of different awesome food at a great price.
Well, Caroline, you chose Ada Street. Sum it up for us.
Wonderful, adventurous food, unique environment, and always a fun time.
And Olga?
It was a wonderful restaurant, and I had great time. If service was getting a little bit better, I would definitely enjoy it even more.
And Al?
Oh, great food, wonderful time. Explore the food. Don't be afraid of it. It's very fantastic.
You can try for yourself at Ada Street, 1664 North Ada Street, 773-697-7069. Open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday and closed on Mondays. Reservations are accepted, and the average tab per person without drinks is $35. Olga Lebetteva isn't afraid to shake it up when it comes to her dining choices. She says for great martinis and a taste of the old country, follow her to Dundee Road and stop by Deka.
I think a lot of people are surprised when they first walk up to the building. They're like, okay, and they walk in and it's like, whoa, this is like totally different. You know, it's clean, elegant. We've got a great wall of vodkas. We've got a great staff, got great owners of the place too. We're at American Brasserie, influenced in French food. We've got some great classic food that everybody should know, and I give it a little twist to say, oh, I remember this, but wow, now they did it with this. That's kind of neat. We'll enlighten you and, you know, maybe open up your eyes to another different world as far as food. Every chef's got to have some sort of creative. If they take away your creativity, it kind of bums you out. Then you can't express your feelings. You know, it's just like a painter with a palette. It's a good feeling. You know, I get to see people face to face. I get to see the reaction. I get to see it all. Just those little things are great like that.
It is wonderful. So Olga, you say Deka is delicious. Why'd you choose it?
Absolutely. Deka has this feel of old country, as you said, and a little bit of a French fusion brought together. It's absolutely fantastic. The menu is not intimidating. It's something that I am familiar with, but it has a new twist added to it. So it brings this new cuisine out.
So you said it's fusion, so it's owned, they're Russian, but the chef actually is French trained.
French-trained.
So kind of what will we see there on the menu?
You'll see things like traditional Russian dumplings called pelmeni, and it's absolutely, it's something completely different because you see this little gnocchi that you're familiar with, you grew up with, and all of a sudden you bite into this amazing sort of pate as a creamy sauce. So that's, that brings out this completely different dish out, and it's very much enjoyable. You will also see things that are very traditional to French cuisine, like escargot. However, the escargot there are not baked in a little dish. They're baked inside the pastry. So when you cut through the pastry crisps out and absolutely lovely and delicious. So these are the things that you get to try in Deka.
Great. So Al, what'd you think?
Oh, it was fantastic. I went in there on a Friday night after work with 2 of my coworkers. The food was fantastic. We had the bruschetta along with the crab cakes. The crab cakes alone are worth the trip back. And my friend had the oysters, the oysters and the pasta. he really loved that. I had the poutine chicken. That's
But yeah, that's their specialty.
Yeah.
The chickens are actually brought from France, if I'm not mistaken.
yes.
Yes.
And it was like sautéed and whatnot, and it was a little smaller, but the ratatouille sauce that comes with it just made the taste of that chicken even better. I had the risotto, as they offered me risotto or mashed potatoes, so I kind of went with risotto. Risotto was perfect for that dish.
Which is not always easy to. It's not always easy to cook risotto. A lot of people overcook it,
Yeah.
but risotto should kind of just be creamy and should
Ours
spread across
felt
your
a little
plate.
bit. Our risotto, I didn't have exactly the same meal,
Yeah, tell us what
experience
you
with
had,
it.
Caroline.
I had the Chilean sea bass papillote, and I asked whether I should have the salmon or that, and our waiter suggested that, and it just felt a little bit bland. I mean, there's so much you can put into those packets that I was expecting sort of really infused flavors to attack me, and it was like a nice white fish and these weird sort of shoestring potatoes or something underneath, which I didn't really think complemented the fish as well. My husband did end up getting one of the specials, which was the meat that they cooked on the
rock stone. Yeah, that was.
which was, again, that didn't strike me as French or Russian, but it was good. But overall, I mean, like, the fact is the food was huge. Like the tartare could have been for 4.
Well, the chef, Michael Ritchie, he trained under Jean Banchet. And Jean Banchet he was a pioneer in French fine dining. He opened Les Français, and so he has this very classical French background.
Wish that I'd gotten more guidance from our server. We didn't have any guidance. I mean, like, I had to ask him, like, are there any specials?
That's where my experience was kind of different. My server, he knew we were from out of town, so he recommended everything based off how he would eat it off the menu. And basically, our server was very friendly, and he told us, try this, and he also said, try this drink is very good with this drink, or try this vodka. And
Yeah, I would have appreciated that.
Yeah.
What vodka did you try? And
honestly, I don't remember. I like to let the servers and whatnot, I let them guide me. So I would let them, and me and my buddies, we let them choose what they wanted us to try, because they work there, they know exactly what's good. So, but we had lines of shots.
Well, they have the largest selection of vodka
Yes.
It looked
in
really
the city.
cool. I mean, honestly, I walked
And
in.
the
it was
vodkas
amazing.
there are actually home infused. So a lot of those recipes are house recipes that are made in the family. So that's another
Unique.
positive point to the restaurant. It's very, very unique. And again, to me, growing up with these flavors of vodka and not being able to get them in America because my parents just don't make vodka in their house. That's the place that I can go and have a little sips of something that is familiar to me and have it with the meal, paired with the meal the way I would like to.
What was the atmosphere like here?
For me, it was very relaxed. There was a lot of older people there that day. It could have been just because it was Friday after work, but it was very relaxed. Everybody had their own conversation. There was a group, I think they were celebrating a birthday.
It also has slot machines there.
What?
Yes.
How did I miss this?
Did you gamble, Al? Did you play a little bit of a slot there?
No, my buddies did though.
Okay.
I
Why not Bandit?
Essentially, once the drink started flowing, we all started venturing out toward the bar. So we began at a table, ended at the bar, and then a little bit of gambling later, and then we went home.
Well, oh yeah, you chose Deka. Sum it up for us.
It's phenomenal food in a great environment. It was a lot of experience that is just behind the curtain.
Great. Now?
Great food, good experience. Give it a try, especially if you're out in the suburbs.
Okay, great. And Caroline?
I think the food has got great potential, and I think they're new. They need more time to get their feet under them.
Great. Get some sea legs.
Yeah.
You can see for yourself at Deka, 401 East Dundee Road, 847-520-3352. Open for dinner every day, reservations are accepted, and the average tab per person without drinks is $40. So on this week's show, we featured Ada Street in the Elston Industrial District, JP Graziano's in the West Loop, and Deka in Wheeling. Let's recap what our guests had to say. First, we made our way to Randolph and went to JP Graziano's. Elle recommends it for the elevated sandwiches that are built for taste. Olya felt it wasn't mind-blowing, but said she would go back and try something else. Carolyn loved the helpful staff and the old-school Chicago feel. Next, we traveled to Ada Street and checked out Ada Street. Carolyn recommends it for a unique environment with adventurous food to match. Elle loved the awesome vibe and fantastic drinks. Olya was not impressed with the service, but liked her meal. Lastly, we went out to the northern suburbs and dined at Deka. Olya recommends it for the phenomenal old country French fusion. Elle thought the food was fantastic and had a great experience overall. Carolyn desired more guidance from her server, but believes the food has potential. We had such a great time this week. I want to thank my guests, Caroline Vanderoff, Elle Herrera, and Olya Lebedeeva. Join us next week for 3 new guests recommending 3 of their favorite restaurants right here on Check Please. I'm Catherine Diorio, and I'll see you then. Cheers.
For more information about the restaurants featured on Check Please, go to WTTW.com/checkplease.